Namaha. Om Shri Shankaraya Namaha. Yes, my dear child.
Om Shankaram Shankaracharya Shashvatam Shaktimanasam Shivaguna Shikshakshasam Shivabijam Shivatmajam. Amma, in Sri Viveka Chudamani, Sri Adi Shankaracharya, our Dada, talks about ātmabodhana, ātmabodhana. What is this concept of ātmabodhana and how does one delve into this concept?
Very, very profound question. ātmabodhana vinapi muktihi. Mukti cannot be achieved without ātmabodhana. Brahma shatantare api, even with hundreds and hundreds of brahmas happening, which means many kalpams happening, and a soul taking birth again and again in various kalpams, even then that cannot cause mukti if ātmabodhana doesn't happen. According to Sri Adi Shankara Bhagavad-Padacharya, I think Shlokam 6, last 2 lines. Now, Swami Sri Adi Shankara Acharya Bhagavad-Pada is communicating clearly that ātmabodhana is a must for mukti. See, my dear child, we do so many pujas in the form of mantra japams, dhyanams, dharanams, kalasha pujas, homams, yajnams, veda parayanams, through shanmargams, through various religions. We do so much of activity. According to Shankara, none of this activity can lead us to mukti. Then what is the use of all this activity and chantings, isn't it? Even chanting Vedas continuously does not ensure mukti. All the pujas does not ensure mukti. All the dhanams there are doesn't ensure mukti. All the talents there are, passion there is, does not ensure mukti. Bettering oneself in something and becoming the elite among that, like our Sri Arjuna in receiving that Gandivam from Indra, the celestial, His Highness the Celestial Father. Even that, and mastering it to such a great degree for Sri Krishna to constantly come as a Sarathi, even that does not ensure mukti. ātmabodhana has to happen. Without ātmabodhana, mukti is impossible. So if all of these things are not causing mukti, then why are we doing all these things? When a child is born in our human realm, we see the baby being in a supine position all the time until it musters its energy to get strong hips, spine, so that it can sit with support, and then sit without support, then stand with support, and then stand and walk without support. And then it has mastered its hands and legs, and then it starts the play. A big process happens from a child being that fetus inside a mother's womb to an adult finishing off their life in this earth realm. There's a big journey that is happening. But the entirety of the journey is only happening when a child is subject to time. When time happens, growth happens. In that time, what we do either does a best kind of growth or a normal growth or a not so good growth. What we do in that time. Time does not grow. In that time, if somebody eats well, a child is sort of sent to a nice school and taught nice things, they grow very well. Otherwise they grow, they fail. There's a failure to thrive sometimes. Sometimes they grow very well and sometimes normally. Now, when time happens, growth happens. Likewise, when somebody or something happens in one's life who can show the undistorted Parabrahman, growth happens. That is called ātmabodhana. like time happening, something else has to happen. That something else happening is a peek into Lord through concepts. So it is learning Parama Satyams in an undistorted way. That is why Shri Adi Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya talks about this ātmabodhana in the following slokams and says, when you come across a mahatvam in the form of an enlightened being, a guru, who can show you Lord without distortion, then what do you need to do? Near that guru is also mentioned in the future slokas. From the 6th slokam until the end of Sri Viveka Chudamani is or hidden, not is, but or hidden so many concepts about ātmabodhana which have not been discussed yet, which will be brought to light if one of you can register that at some point. It's a travel. ātmabodhana is a travel. Even sometimes after meeting enlightened beings, Jiva is constantly learning, but ātmabodhana isn't happening. We can learn for our buddhi, which is the gross. We can learn for our jiva, which is all these Vedas and procedures and stuff. We can learn for our Atma, which is the communication with Lord. ātmabodhana is taught through fragments and fragments of openings through which you can see Lord. This is what we call miracles. It's fragments. When a small portal, a window is opened to see Lord, it's called a miracle. But the window opening can be done by a guru without you in the equation or with you in the equation. Are you getting where I'm going? Not yet? Okay. See, if somebody visits a guru and the guru blesses them, a miracle happens. That is the guru opening a window to see Parabrahmam, because the guru wants to bless that person. So some blessing has happened there. That is a guru's mahatvam. But if a guru is taking someone under the wing and showing them the process itself, that is ātmabodhana. The difference of this I can say like this. In our Sri Kanchi Matam, when Sri Parama Acharya Sri Chandrasekhara Saraswati Swami was there, the greatest mukta that walked the earth according to me. When His Highness was there in a human form and still is there as Lord and Lordess, but when His Highness was there in a human form, you know, people who lived in the Matam near His Highness were not just seeing the miracles, but they were seeing the process of it. That is ātmabodhana. But when bhaktas were coming and receiving the miracles and going, that is just a blessing. But those who were nearby, who saw the entire process, a learning is happening. Without enough learning of the jiva, ātmabodhana cannot happen. Entering into mahattvams like Vedams and procedures and processes, when that happens, and as a residue of that, when a guru being happy with your learning, so that you can keep those Vedams alive for, descendants to come, when they feel happy about your Vedas, about your processes, about your learning, and when the guru, because of that happiness, is opening you up into some understandings of the processes of the mahattvams, that is ātmabodhana. ātmabodhana begins there and then it continues after that. But ātmabodhana begins there. Is it clear to you at some level? So remember that any matam, in that matam, people are coming for blessings to a Mahan. They're getting blessings from some great Acharya or, Mukta or Mukta, female or male, enlightened being. And those who come receive the blessing and go, those are not in ātmabodhana. They are just in Jiva Bodhana. But those who are near that enlightened being, witnessing everybody else's miracle and the process and the technique, and when they get to discuss about this, that is happening only because they are ascending their Jiva in a very fast pace with their own will by being near an enlightened being, that the mechanics can be revealed to them by the enlightened being. That is ātmabodhana. Because Atma is a witness state. So a enlightened being is making you a witness to something and teaching you the witnessing equation, that because they're happy with your jiva's ascent, that is ātmabodhana's beginning, first step. So very good question, very deep question. Let us all chant Shankaram Shankaracharya beautifully, loud and clear. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Sashvatam Shaktamanasam Shiva Agama Shishya Shreshtam